Welcome, technicians. We're going to start with step one, the battery case. Here's what it looks like when it's done. Here's the instructions. So pull your instructions out to step one, and we can get started. Okay, so we're going to look at the bags we need. So, of course, we need the battery case. If we're going to assemble the battery case, we need this bag and this bag only for steps 1 and 2. We'll need the yellow and the green out of there. And these edges, don't worry about cutting anything. You don't want to cut anything with this. The only cutting you're going to do is on the black plastic tubing, which will be in this bag. If you can't find the black plastic tubing, sometimes it's hidden inside the spring. So that could be something that you need to look at. So next we'll review the tools that you need. Here are the two main tools you're going to be using. Of course, a ruler with the 3mm side and what I like to call flush cutters, because they will help cut things flush or flat. On the flush cutter, it's important to see that there's a spring side, and that's actually, it's tough to get in this, but you'll be able to see kind of a flat area. So if you don't have a ruler, that's okay, because we can use the 3mm here just to scale. So if you cut it, the black tubing, to that size, it will be the size that we need. Other things to look at with step 1 is we've got the green cable and the yellow cable. We've got a hidden negative symbol and a positive symbol. So you can tell that that's hidden, and then interestingly enough, you can see that that's a black arrow, and then that's a white arrow. If we take our flush cutters and I point at the spring on this side, my fingers would be black because I'm on that side. Now, if for some reason we want to point to them on the other side, then my finger would be white so you could see the other side. So here you can see that that arrow is black because it's going to go that side. This one is actually going to go to the other side. And you can actually even see, if you look closely, that that white arrow has a dashed line as soon as it goes behind the battery case. You can see that I've collected the battery case, the terminals, and the tubing, and it's all in my tray. The rest of that bag that came with these is in here. That way I keep everything in front of me where I need it. So I'm not going to assemble in the tray. I highly recommend you do. You can see the halo ring above, and I don't want that to distract you while I'm trying to assemble. So we'll start with that. I'm just going to take this tray and put it to the side and start our assembly. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. You can see that I've got the negative on the left-hand side and the positive on the right-hand side. So I like to let gravity help me out. So when I grab battery terminal A, I'm going to stick that right in there. It may take a little bit of work. So I like to use gravity to help me out, and then that holds that in there. See that? Now I'm on the negative side, so I'm going to use what I like to call the ramp, and it slides right in that area right there. Okay, that looks great. So now, once again, I like to put these on before wiring because these hold these straight. So if I put this in, okay. So if I try to wire this, I have to hold it twice, right? Whereas if I wire this side, you can see that it's nice and steady. So put these connectors in. I call this the bump on the positive side. Now, if you have a hard time pushing the bump in, you may have put it on the negative side, because that's how engineers make sure that we assemble it correctly. Because improper wiring will actually cause a short circuit, and then that's not good. That's where the battery gets hot. Okay, so slide it in that thing, push it all the way down. Okay, once again, make it look like the picture. Double check. Yep, looks like the picture. Now we're on to trimming the black tubing. You can see I have the black tubing. I'm pulling it out of my case. So the black tubing, there's 3 ways to do it. If we look down here in the corner, we're going to see 3mm. That is to scale. So if I come in with my cutters, right, and cut it like that, then that'll be 3. You can also take a pen and mark it and then cut it. Okay. I like using these cutters because they're nice. They're pretty accurate. Scissors sometimes can be tough, but they also work. Also, of course, we've got the millimeter scale here, so you can find 3mm. There's only 30 of them to pick from, so you should be able to find 3 close together to make that work. So that's cutting. We'll go ahead and make these cuts, and then we'll go from there. I've got my tubing cut, and it looks good. I also have my yellow wire on the positive side and my green wire on the negative side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it through that hole you can see here. So we put it halfway through the metal. Okay, so I'll do it this way so you can tell that I'm already going through the hole. So you can tell I'm already going through the hole. We're going to stick this. If this starts to flail out a little bit, just twist it up. Okay. The purpose of that cover was to keep it from flailing out like that. So halfway through, all right. Then I push down on this side, and I push down on this side. Okay. Then the black part slides over the top. You can see that I kind of need to use my fingernails. Sometimes I'll grab 2 fingernails and push it down. Like, negative side is done. Now I'm going to do the positive side. Same way, through the center of the hole. Up. So I may need to twist that again. That's fine. So, through the center of the hole, halfway down the metal, because I want metal to metal contact, remember. Black piece goes on top, black rubber tubing. You can see I can kind of start it that way, and then I finish it by pushing it nice and low. So now we want to double check things. Double check time. So we've got the positive with the yellow and the bump. We've got the negative with the ramp, negative green. Okay. We don't want to tie these two together, and we definitely do not want to put a battery in here. This is where I've had a technician before put a battery in here, put these two together, and then it caused a short, which actually melted this case. So big safety concern here. Don't put a battery in unless you're actually walking the Companimate.